21st pick in NFL Draft 2000, the Kansas City Chiefs select Sylvester Morris, wide receiver, Jackson State.
Pretty big kid. Is he a good return man, Mel?
No, he's a pure receiver, Chris. He's 6'3", he's 210 pounds. Certainly at the Division I AA level, he presented all kinds of problems for the small college defensive backs that he went up against. Had 17 touchdowns back in 1998. Closed out this past season, 20.3-yard average per catch, Joe. And I'll tell you what, when you look at the situation in Kansas City, they need a wide receiver.
Yeah, when you add Derek Alexander, Kevin Lockett, Andre Rison. Andre Rison certainly not that young. Kevin Lockett has worked in. They lost Joe Horn. You see this young man's power and ability. He was up there along with some of the other receivers up high, does a nice job of staying with the ball.
The concern, long strider. Will he be able to get open against these cornerbacks? He rounds off his patterns. I think the separation, the quick burst out of his break, he needs to work on. But I tell you what, down at the Senior Bowl practices, he did a pretty good job. He's got great hands, and he's tough. I think when you combine that with 6'3", 210, and the fact that his hands really are on a par with Peter Warrick and Travis Taylor. I think people lose sight of that. They think Division I AA, well, he double clutched some receptions. He wasn't a guy that was that consistent. He was, and he will come into the NFL with the ability to catch the football with his hands, limit the ability of the corner to jar the ball loose. He's the kind of player that at this point, we have talked about him with the Raiders, wide receiver off the board, figured to be at this point, Sylvester Morris is the next best true receiver. If you look in return.
With the 23rd pick in the NFL Draft 2000, the Carolina Panthers select Rashard Anderson, cornerback, Jackson State.
Little bit of a surprise or not, Mel. I mean, we thought maybe offensive line. We thought maybe Bullock.
Maybe linebacker.
Now maybe a
right,
San Francisco pick.
Yep.
Surprised? You like this player?
I'm surprised. I thought Keith Bullock would be an ideal fit here, an offensive tackle. I think when you look at Rashard Anderson, at one point I thought he would be a late first rounder, then moved him into the second round. He has ideal size. And when you see all these big wideouts that are dotting NFL rosters and having such an impact, you want a corner who's over 6 feet tall and 205 pounds. So when you look at Rashard Anderson from a physical standpoint, able to match up. Like I said, about 205 pounds, runs pretty well. And I think at the Senior Bowl practices, the question was to move inside to a safety position. If you watch him in coverage, decent feet, loose hips, turns, and here you see him beaten, but then he recovers. And I think that's going to be the key for Rashard Anderson, to be able to turn and run. We saw it with Deltha O'Neal. Division I AA, you're not challenged. I know he went up against Sylvester Morris every day in practice, but he wasn't challenged on a game-to-game basis and a play-to-play basis. So I think that's going to be the big question in the NFL, the man-to-man coverage situations. Will he have to move inside to a safety spot? And I think when you see a Keith Bullock there, I think he's the kind of player who would have presented the value. Rashard Anderson and the corners, there was a group that were kind of bunched together, and he was in there certainly with Lewis Sanders and even a Mark Roman who had moved up, and Lloyd